show in about 2 minutes, and we're going to close the auditorium doors. So we ask that you please enter the auditorium at this time and find your seats. Thank you. We ask that those who are standing at the back to please find a seat until everyone's seated. So if you are standing at the back, please find a seat. Thank you. started, please find your seat so we can get started. Thank you.
Started. So even if you are walking in, please do so quietly. Please and thank you. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Paula Farah and I am a teacher within the TSB. Today we would like to remind you to come closer. So dawada. In Somali, these words carry a special meaning, an invitation to draw closer, to come closer in unity and celebration. Tonight, as we gather to embrace the rich tapestry of Somali culture, let So Dawada echo through our collective hearts and minds, encouraging us to come closer to the vibrant community of Somali artists, families, and beyond. This evening is more than just a cultural showcase. It's a stepping stone towards fostering deeper connections and understanding. Let this event be the bridge to bring us closer, breaking down barriers and building bridges of friendships and cultural appreciation. Hello everyone, my name is Salma Hassan and I'm also a teacher at TSB. As we revel in the beauty of Somali heritage tonight, we must extend our sincere gratitude to individuals whose dedication and support have been the backbone of the celebration. Trustee, Dad, me. Your commitment to the Somali Heritage Month Committee and invaluable assistance in planning this event has been instrumental. Danny Carnival, our exceptional coordinator. Your laser-focused dedication ensured that every detail was meticulously organized, making tonight a seamless experience. Associate Director Stacey, though unable to join us physically, your encouragement and support along the way have been a driving force. A special appreciation goes out to the members of the Somali Center for Culture and Recreation. The night's immersive art experience, captivating all before entering this auditorium, is a testament to your tireless efforts and the talented artists you collaborated with. Without you, the celebration would not have been possible. Thank you for bringing the essence of Somali culture to life and making this event a truly memorable experience for all. So Dawada. We would now like to introduce you guys to our hosts for the night. We have our Toronto comedian, Sadal Ali, as well as Khatra Abdullah, aka Queen Book.
Oh, my mic is working now. Perfect. Guys, full disclaimer, I don't listen to Pop Smoke, but I just wanted to be cool like you guys. That is, I'm being 100% honest with you. I haven't been in high school in about none of your business, so you're not gonna know my age. That being said, when I was walking through the corridor, I was like, look at all these cool kids. I'm not cool, but I'm gonna be cool, all right? My name is Khatra Abdul. I go by the name Queen Book. I used to have a show on Shaka Shaka, on YouTube called Shaka Shaka. Have you guys ever heard of it? Well, I'm back. I'm coming back. I'm out. COVID let us out. I lost over 120 pounds. Don't ask questions, but we're here now. We're here now. All right? guys to be here. We're having an incredible show. My goal, let me tell you what my goal here. This is a Somali Heritage Night. I want to learn. I want to have fun. I want to laugh. Do you guys want the same thing? Yeah! Somebody's screaming. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then the other thing is, when I was growing up, I grew up in Ottawa, and then I moved to Toronto for university, and then I never left. When I was growing up, I didn't go to these things, all right? I came from a very strict family. My parents were always, not maliga friso. Everything I do, maliga friso. For those of you guys who do not speak Somali, it means you're a great daughter, all right? We're gonna keep doing that so they don't know what we're saying, but we're gonna translate for them, however we want, all right? So, I'm super excited. I was like, listen, I want to be part of this generation. What generation are you guys? You guys what? Generation Z? Generation Z? Perfect. I'm going to be Generation C. Why? Because my generation, again, I'm not telling you what my age is, but they're quite boring. Very, very boring. So my job at the end of the night is to be part of you guys. I hope you welcome me into your generation because I want to be cool just like you guys. That being said, I am going to start off the show with my co-host, who is hilarious. When I tell you I don't have a bone in my body that's creative, none whatsoever. I watch YouTube for makeup tutorials. I watch YouTube for hair tutorials. I don't know how to paint. I don't know what to do. I'm not creative, but we have some creativity in the house tonight, so I'm super excited to learn from them. My co-host is Saga Ali. She's hilarious. Is Saga here? Oh, she's right there. Perfect. So guys, give it up for Saga Ali, and she's gonna go ahead and come afterward. Saga, before we start, we're gonna do a quick intro, and then we have to do a live acknowledgement. All right? Because we can't start off the show. So how about we start with the live acknowledgement first? Because guys, we're Canadian, and what do? We're very respectful. This is our land. This is their land. So we want to make sure we start off the show correctly. So we're gonna go ahead and start off. Salim, how are you? Come on up, darling. Guys, give it up for Saadia Abdullah Salim. She is a student. Oh, they know you. They know you. She is a student at Kipling Collegiate Institute. So go ahead, guys, give it up for Saadia, okay?
We acknowledge we're hosted on the lands of the Mississauga and the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Wendat. We also recognize the injured presence of all First Nation, Métis, and the Indigenous people.
Hello?
Hold your mic.
Hello? Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Saga Ali, stand-up comedian. Obviously, I don't know what's going on here, but it's a Somali event, so we're making it up as we go, but we'll figure it out. You guys will leave at midnight. Don't listen to the schedule. Anyways, I recently started wearing this hat because I want to seem more sincere, so I take it off. You know? Like someone will tell me their father passed away, and I'm like, your dad died? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for your loss. Your dog ran away? Oh, my sincerest condolences. Going through a divorce? Oh, man, I really feel for you. Anyways, I decided I wanted to be a better person. Anybody else? Yeah. And I did that by doing what everybody does when they want to be a better person, which is I went to go get a self-help book. But I didn't know which one to pick when I got there. But the book I ended up going with was a book that was called 365 Days to Change Your Life. And in the back of the book ended up saying, it said that by the end of the year I'll have a life of my dreams. I was pretty excited. I was like, why is nobody else buying this book? Do they not know what the book says? So anyways, I get to the register and I'm telling the guy, I'm like, yo, like, why is nobody else buying this book? But I go home, and the rule of the book was that you're supposed to read a page a day, and then by the end of the year, that's why it takes 365 days, your life is going to be perfect. So I open it up, and day one, it said, have you tried being happy? And I was like, wow, have I even tried? Yeah. Anyways, I lost the book a month ago, so we'll never know if it works. But recently, what I've been seeing trending on TikTok, I don't know if you guys have seen it too, was a lot of non-Muslim people reading the Quran and saying it's changing their life. Yeah. And I was like, this is the book I should have been reading. This book actually would have changed my life. Okay. Well, yeah, that's it from me. I'll be back later to keep doing this. Bye.
Yeah, okay, perfect. We're talking between two microphones, so bear with us. I'm going to be introducing our next guest. It's one of my favorite people, and I've always wanted to ask him, how did he get so tall? Because there's one thing about your generation, nah, don't come after me, but I see the grade 10s, I see the grade 11s, I see the grade 12s. I can't tell you a difference. I can't tell you apart. You guys are not growing. Something's happening here. Get off the TikTok. You need some milk. I need some Brussels sprouts. But this guy right here, he's old school. And this is my next lovely guest. Come on in, Liban. Guys, give it up for Liban Hassan, our trustee. Before I let you go, and I know you're going to give a great speech and welcome all your cameras, I have a quick question for you. You're Somali.
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Like I have to ask him. We both have the same forehead. I made fun of myself too, not just you. Okay, I have a question. When I saw your name on the board, it said Liban Hassan. We both know that is not your full name. So, for those of you guys that are not Somali, us Somali people, we're also Muslim. 99.999999999% Muslim. So we don't just go with like Bob Smith. Well, we don't do that. We come from a lineage. So I'm going to ask you, what is your full name, Liban?
Liban Abdulrahman Ahmed Hassan Bulhan Shida Ali Ahmed.
Very nice. Let me tell you mine. You ready? Khadra Mohammed Farah Abdullah Wahili Dere. You know my people? Are we family? Who knows, right? Let's help me identify each other. So if I ever get lost, if I'm ever kidnapped, I always tell people, you can find me in Europe, all I have to do is get away from my captors, go to the nearest Somali person and be like, come find me, tell my family, my name is Qadr Mohammed Farah Abdullah Farah, please, please, please. And then all they have to do is be like, oh, I know your dad, come with me. And then I'm safe, right? So this is how we do our lineage. I'm going to let you do your thing, Liban. Guys, give it up for Liban.
Hello everyone, my name is Liban Hassan and I'm proud to be the first Somali trustee in the TESB. I have to be honest with you guys, I don't have a speech ready. I wasn't expecting it to be this many people here. I think there's about 400 people here, so round of applause to Somali community. This right here is exactly why I'm in the position I'm in today. Because the community cares about our education system, they care about Somali students, and they want to see our well-being and our success. The reason why I was elected, I have to admit, is because the Somali community pushed me. They were there with me every single day. Because as many of us know, we have issues in the community within the education system. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. But before I get there, I want to, first of all, thank everyone for attending this evening. We have our trustees here, Trustee Shelly Laskin, Dan McLean, and Nathan Chan. And this is a testament to our TSB trustees because they care about our community. I was able to pass a motion for the TSB to endorse the Somali Center of Culture and Arts. So round of applause for them. Somali Center TO is a part of this event. They're co-hosting it, and I have to give my hats off to them because I've seen the effort they put in night and day, going into countless meetings with TSB officials, city, province, federal, to make sure that we get a community center that's a safe and inclusive space for our community. We don't have a community center in the city, and look how large the population is. Look how involved we are in community, into sports, into education, into culture, into arts. So it's very important that we do get this community center, and I'm glad that we're all on board and we're all supporting. I want to talk about I mentioned earlier the issues in the community. Back in 2012, Somalis had the lowest graduation rates. Everyone is familiar with the story. Today, we're in a different place. So 2012, we were at the lowest graduation rate. By 2017, we were at 70%. The TSB average across the board, every athlete group, is 80%. Round of applause. It's not done yet, though. 80% is the average system-wide. As of now, Somalis are on par with average, with Somali girls leading the highest number of any athlete in the TSB. How do we do this? We did this because, as I said earlier, we're here together as a community. We want the better for our community. It was a collective approach, and the TSB put together a Somali task force with a concentrated and focused effort on our community. And now we see the results. The highest, Somali girls, the highest in the entire TSB. As a trustee, I see how important my role is. When I told you earlier the community supported me, I didn't realize it until those late nights when Somali mothers specifically were calling me to meetings. I work a 9 to 5, I have committee meetings, I have board meetings. I have to go to these extra meetings in between because our community is not being heard. There may be language barriers. A lot of us live in low-income neighborhoods. There seems to be a disconnect between the school system and our community. But I've seen the difference now when I'm able to sit in those meetings with our parents. Whether it's a student that has neurodiversity issue, who's going through neurodiversity, or it's an issue regarding community safety, or they're being accused of some sort of alleged problem in school, I'm there to support them all the way, and I've seen the results. So I'm happy to be able to take that role, and I hope that in the future many students here can take on the trustee role as well. So I don't want to take up too much time tonight, but I want to once again thank everyone for coming out and being here tonight to support this event. It's about Somali heritage, but I felt that it's very important to talk about educational highlights. And before I give up the mic, I want to ask, is Jim Sparopoulos here tonight? Okay. Right here. Okay. So, Jim, do you want to come and give a few words? I want to thank everybody once again. My name is Yuga Hassan, and I'm glad to be the TSB trustee in the first of Somali descent. And I'm here to support our community, and I hope that we can all enjoy the festivities tonight.
Good evening, everybody. I want to start by thanking you so much for the invitation. You know, one of the blessings that I've had over the course of my career, and I can hardly believe we're in year 34, is to work as closely as we possibly have with the Somali community. And for those of you that have relationships, you know that one of the sacred times in our household is Friday night. Because Friday night is when I get the opportunity to spend time with the most important thing in my life, and that's my three beautiful sons. And those of you who've had a chance to get to know me know that over the course of the years, they're not so young anymore. And as they've grown into young men, we try to protect our Friday nights as much as possible. But when Trustee Hassan asked me about tonight, there was no other way to go because this community has always treated myself and my colleagues like we belong and like we're a part of your family. And for that, I will always be grateful to you. You know, Trustee Hassan made a lot of really key and important points. Thank you. You make us feel like we belong. In 2012, I'm going to take a trip back for a second and tell you that after a very tragic incident at the Toronto Eaton Centre, which was another in a series of catastrophic events where a young man of Somali descent lost his life in a food court, the community was once again outraged. Except this time it took a different course of action. And it called on leaders from different organizations at all levels of government to go to a meeting at Scaddy Court Community Center, which is downtown at the corner of Bathurst and Dundas. And that community center was rammed that night. Never mind the seat, people were outside. And you could feel the pain of having to go to another meeting to deal with another tragedy, only to perhaps hear the same solutions. And I'll never forget leaving that meeting, and our director of education at the time, the great Chris Spence, said to me, leave this space tonight. And let's not have a conversation until we do something that's different and bold and supportive in order to change what's happening now to a different day. And in the weeks that followed, we went from Abu Huraira to IMO, to Dixon, to Regent, to Kipling, and everywhere in between, and it was not easy. In fact, there were nights when it was so painful. And we felt that instead of helping the community, we were tearing it apart. But that pain and those hard times, I believe, have resulted in some progress, because as Trustee Hassan said a few short years later, what was a historically low graduation rate, and not just graduation, but attendance in post-secondary institution, slowly started to creep up to beyond the board average. And as Trustee Hassan said, today, students of Somali descent have among the highest graduation rates and post-secondary achievement of all students. All. That's a cause for celebration. So much celebration that you can't even get a parking spot outside. You have to park on the field to be able to get in here. Because that's how much people care about their community. And I want to talk about something else that Trustee Hassan alluded to. I learned a word during the course of that consultation. And that word is hoyo. And I'm going to say this with all due respect to the fathers and all the males in the audience. But there is something completely and totally different in terms of what goes into making a Somali hoyo. And that comes from the fact that Somali girls today, listen to what Trustee Hassan said, everybody. I want you to pause for 1 second. I'm going to repeat it. Somali girls have the highest graduation rate and post-secondary in all of TDSB. All. People from Minnesota, New York, and elsewhere are calling us to find out how the Somali girls in Toronto have done it. And I salute you, and I congratulate you, and I thank you. I want to quickly wrap it up in this way. Our trustees back in 2014 made some very bold decisions. And those decisions today have resulted in more Somali staff, especially Somali principals, than we have ever had, but still not enough. I remember we met with an amazing organization called Soyak back in the day. And there's a kid that I used to call Skinny. His name is Ali Abdullahi. Some of you might know him. And Skinny said to me, Jim, there's not enough programs and things for kids to do. That's why they hit the streets. So we opened up Thistletown Collegiate every Saturday night. And the gym was packed on Saturday night. And Skinny pointed out a young man who was a part of that program that night. And he said, Jim, this is one of the best basketball players in the country. But what's more important to us is he has tremendous leadership potential. And also in the gym that night was a guy called Ali Mahamoud. And he was a pioneer in TDSB. He started working at Lawrence Heights and at Bathurst Heights, and then he became a community support worker. He was in the gym too. And he said, Jim, you can roll out the basketballs, but you know what Somalis need? They need a seat at the table. They need a seat at the table. I want to bring it full circle. Because the young guy that Skinny pointed out to me in the gym that night, who was not just an outstanding basketball player, but also a leader, is in the room tonight. His name is Liban Hassan. You have a seat at the table. Let's keep going. Congratulations, thank you, and I wish you all the best in the times ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this amazing occasion. It's fabulous to see the community coming together to celebrate today. My name is Neetan Shan. I'm a school board trustee from Scarborough Center and also the vice chair of the TDSB. So I bring greetings on behalf of the school board. Trustee Hassan already introduced the trustees who are here. Trustee Laskin, Trustee Dan Macklin, Trustee Laskin, and I also see Trustee Zakir Patel here as well. And of course, our Trustee Liban Hassan, who's already been introduced. But I want to say, Trustee Liban Hassan being there at the board is a symbol of success of the community. In fact, you heard all these stats, and I guess the TDSB trustee wouldn't attribute most of those credit to TDSB. It is actually the credit to the community for persevering against all forms of discrimination, persevering against racial profiling, persevering against the barriers that are set up together, particularly led by Somali mothers, to make sure that our young people have the best opportunity. So the credit goes to all of you for taking this on. I fled a genocide myself. I came as a refugee to this country at the age of 16, and Tamil community went through many similar challenges. And we see you having gone through those challenges, but not give up. Not give up to the stereotype, not give up to the pressures of those profiling. You stood strong, you stood firm, and you worked hard to get to where you are. And in fact, I saw many young people. I saw Abdi Fatah, I saw Fatah Awil, who are working outside, and then also our brother Zakaria, who is leading the work with the center as well. So these are all symbols of your success, but they are also symbols of resilience in our community. They are role models for others who are struggling as well. So I'm delighted to be celebrating all of their success. I want to say, when we talk about women leadership in this country, the history and the work of Somali mothers has to be documented and shared as a pioneering story of women leadership in this country. And often stereotypes about Muslim women do not do justice to the work that these women have done. Not only for Somali children, the work they have done has changed the world for many children in our school system. So my thank you to all those mothers who have sacrificed their time for our school system. And I can tell you, no system can stand up to the power of those mothers coming together to advocate. And it's a delight to be watching that and growing with that and being mentored. I just want to finally finish off by saying that the Somali Center for Culture and Recreation is a fabulous project. As a trustee, I commit myself fully to support the project in whatever way possible. It's about time we have a physical space that could be the dream of many young people to aspire to grow and excel and succeed, and for elders to have a place at home where they could be valued and recognized. So TDSP passed a motion and we will continue to work together. As I mentioned, I've spearheaded the Tamil Community Center project in Northeast Scarborough, and it's already on the way of being built. So I bring all those learnings, both the challenges and the successes together to give my full support to the team of young people and elders working together. Let's make that a reality soon. Thank you very much. I'm just going to introduce, we are just saving some time because there's a bit of a delay, so we are playing MCU on this one. Superintendent Kwame, please join me in welcoming Superintendent to say a few words on the other side.
Thank you so much, Trustee. What a remarkable night. My name is Kwame Lennon, and I'm the proud, Superintendent of Kipling Collegiate Institute. What a remarkable event. And on behalf of the senior team of the TDSB, it is my pleasure to be with you here this evening as we celebrate Somali heritage. At the TDSB, we use Heritage Months as opportunities to celebrate the diversity of our staff, students, families, and the community as we learn about the rich diversity of Somali Torontonians. There's a great joy in the learning about our own history, as well as the history and heritage of those who identify as Somali. We in the TDSB celebrated Somali Heritage Month in October as an opportunity for stakeholders to learn about the many contributions, traditions, and histories of Somali Canadians. And we know that this learning must extend beyond 1 month, and it must extend throughout the whole year to ensure that our students in the TDSB understand the intersectional identities of Somali Canadians. This year's theme of Somali Heritage Month was Educate, Elevate, Excel. And as you've seen today, this is a clear example of how the Somali community excels in every way. We know that tonight, the programming that is before you will continue to show a diverse array of art and conversation. To our students and staff of Somali Heritage, please know that in the TDSB, we honor you, we honor your traditions, your history, and your dreams. And as mentioned before, the TDSB passed a motion for the establishment and advancement of a community space for Somali Center, culture, and recreation. We in the TDSB are committed to ensuring that our students see themselves in our schools and in the broader communities in which they live. I must say, it's such a pleasure seeing individuals tonight that have helped me to be the leader that I am today. Individuals like Mayun, who I first worked with at Oakdale Park, who's doing fantastic work now. Our own trustee, Trustee McLean, and our dear trustee, Trustee Ban-Hussan, who I worked with in the Ward 6. Again, thank you to the Somali Heritage Month Committee. This night would not be possible without you. I also want to extend thanks to the team here at Kipling Collegiate. I gotta put a plug in for my old school because I love it. Again, thank you so much. Have yourselves a wonderful celebration.
Hi, I'm back. So, I just wanted to comment on what Vivan said about 2012 being the lowest graduation rate for Somali people. I thought that was interesting, because that's the year I didn't graduate. Representing the uneducated. Anyways, I have a grandfather. He's dead. He died. I was at his funeral, and I ended up meeting my aunt at his funeral, my hubby. And it turned out that she was 5 years old. Yeah. This is very confusing. I was like, Javier, is that you? She was like, I like cookies. I was like, okay, what's going on? But I didn't change the way I treated her from any other aunt. You know, I treated her just like I would treat any aunt that I have, with respect. And I always went to her for advice, right? I would go to her all the time, actually. I'd be like, Auntie, there's a boy I like. What should I do about this? And she was like, boys have cooties. And I was like, okay. I went to go pick her up from kindergarten, actually, last week. And I was like, I'm here to see my aunt. And they're like, is she a teacher? And I was like, she's a student, actually. I was talking to her in the car. It's pretty stressed. I was like, Auntie, I really need some financial advice right now. I'm in bad credit. I don't know what to do. She was playing with a toy train. She looked at me with her wise 5-year-old eyes and said, that. I didn't know what she meant by it. It's too wide. All right.
Guys, give it up for Sago. Let me give you a little bit of history for the non-Somalis here, all right? We are a generation that, how do I say this? Keeps reproducing, if you know what I mean, honey, right? And so it is not uncommon to have a 5-year-old aunt, and I have a lot of siblings, and none of my, first of all, before I even continue my story and my trauma dumping on you guys, all the people who are on the back, you guys are scaring me because you look like my ops, all right? I don't know, I can't see you, so if you have a seat next to you that is empty, please raise your hand. Raise your hand, up and high. And all the people back there, unless you guys are somebody who came for me, please take a seat. Everybody please take a seat. Put your hand up if you have an empty seat next to you. Hand up, all the way up. Keep them up, keep them up. And those people that are up back there, if you guys can sit, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Can I get your attention? Can I get 1, 2, 3? Shh. Perfect. Okay, amazing. Like I was trauma jumping on you guys. So none of my siblings have kids. So I'm not an aunt. Inshallah, I will be very soon. Inshallah, I have my own children very soon. That being said, I've never been a Javier. So when I was growing up, all the Javieres, for those of you that don't know, is auntie. They would come over, and my parents would say to me, Khadra, hehoy ma'an. Javier shahud ken. Okay. Khadra, hehoy ma'an. Auntie is coming. So, guess what I just found out? Justin Trudeau decided to open up the doors and we have all kinds of wonderful refugees and immigrants and whatnot, and my people are coming. And then guess what I found out? The people that are coming, I'm an aunt. That's right. Yeah. But the people that are coming are grown people. They're adults. So I just had a 38-year-old nephew call me. He's like, Javier, man, well, so sorry now. I was like, Javier, well, I'm not your aunt. Like, I'm young, I'm vibrant. Look at me, I can't be an aunt. And he's like, no. You're my aunt from your father's side, to the mother's side, because I'm your uncle, and because you're my mother, and because I said, okay, I'm very confused. What am I to you? My aunt. You're my aunt. I said, okay. I said, guess who's abusing that power? A power that I've never had. Guess who I'm going to tell? Habib Ma'ano, ha. Shahi Kari. Habib Ma'ano, ha. Wallahi wa ta'ala bismika. I'm abusing this power. I want water. I want him to get up the seat. Everything is going to be like, why? Because I'm what? You're Javier. I'm going to abuse that power. I'm going to let you guys know, by the time I'm done with them, they're going to go right back. Somali, no, I'm just kidding. No. That being said, guys, I'm talking way too much. I want to give it up to our next guest. Two is Zakaria Abdul. Zakaria, our beautiful, incredible, wonderful brother, he is a part of the incredible team at the Somali Center, and they're going to be making the 40th year a dream come true. Give it up for Zakaria Abdul.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's more like it. As my good sister Fadla mentioned, my name is Zachary Abdul, and I have the esteemed privilege and honor of working with some of the most incredible people across this beautiful city of Toronto to establish a 40-year dream of making a Somali Center for Culture and Recreation happen right here in Toronto. A lot of what we've learned on the journey to date is that the history and the contribution of the incredible Somali people in the city is not being shown properly. And you heard a bit of it earlier from the incredible Trustee Liban Hassan. Let's give it up for our good brother Liban. You heard a bit of it from Liban, the chair of TDSB. But the community first asked to establish a Somali Center for Culture and Recreation in the 1970s. Did anybody think before this event that Somalis were even in Toronto in the 1970s? The Somali community, from what we learned, wrote a letter on September 11, 1990, the year I was born, asking the government to establish a Somali Center for Culture and Recreation. How many of you guys knew this in the room? Not yet, or not me from no man back there. In 1998, the community once again wrote to the city and multiple orders of government, working earnestly. Much of our elders deserve credit, asking to establish a Somali Center for Culture and Recreation. And again, their request was not respected or answered. In 2005, during the heat of the Summer of the Gun, where gun violence was happening across Toronto, the community came together and tried to also select a location for a Somali Center. Once again, they were denied. But luckily, through the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, first and foremost, in 2022, on July 20th, the City of Toronto finally agreed in Members' Motion 4729 to establish a Somali Center for Culture and Recreation. Give it up! And now that we have the city supporting this process, over the last 24 months, with the support of our mosque, of our business leaders, of our families, of our mothers, of people like yourself in this room, we have incredible momentum to make a 40-year dream a reality. So I need you guys shortly to get on your feet. Not yet. Before I ask you to do this, I want to give it up to many of my team members that are here in the house. Today we have Hala Ahmed, who's here. Let's give it up for Hala. We have Abdul Fattah Hussein. Let's give it up for Abdul Fattah. We have my man Abdullah Qasim right here in the first row. Let's give it up for him. We have Nawali, who's volunteering with us. Back with us. Give it up for Nawali. We have Usman. But guess who's also a part of the team? Every single person in this room. I also want to thank the Somali Heritage Committee for coming to us to partner on this very, very special night. And I want you all, before you leave today, to learn one Somali proverb. And I'm going to share one that I've learned, that the elders shared with me along this journey. Iskashito mukufto, which means when you stand together, you can never fail. So now I need you to get up on your feet. Come on. Everybody, get up on your feet. All my hoyas, all my elders and upties, all my little children, all my young people, before we have a credible performance, I need you all to chant, build our community. One more time. Build our community. One more time. Build our community. We have representatives here from the mayor's office. We have trustees here from the TDSB. Let's tell Mayor Chow to do what? And what are we going to do with the 40-year dream? Make it up? Reality. Make it up? Reality.
tell anybody in this city that you cannot make a dream a reality. You are brilliant, you are talented. The struggle story they tried to bring you, wash you with, wash that out as soon as you leave the room. You come from kings and queens, incredible people. Never let them tell you what you can't do. Thank you so much, and remember, build our community.
That was so inspiring. Oh, you forgot your phone. All right, I'll bring it to you. Guys, that was incredible. Give it up for Takia one more time. Man, I feel like I can do anything after that speech. That was absolutely incredible. Guys, our next guest is an incredible poet. Her name is Ibtisam Hussein. Ibtisam is, oh, I know you. Give it up one more time for Ibtisam. All your friends are here. I love that. She's a brilliant student in grade 11, currently attending West Humber High School. Please give it up for Ibtisam. Come on in, darling.
Assalamu alaikum. So my name is Ibtisam Hussein, and my school was outed. Thank you. But today I'm here to tell you my story in the form of a poem of how I found the middle ground between being Canadian and Somali. So my poem is called Threads of Tradition, and it's about embracing my identity in a multicultural tapestry. In the land where the sun meets the sand lies a tapestry of traditions so grand. Somali customs, cherished and true, shape my understanding, both old and new. From the tales of our ancestors, we inherit a rich heritage we proudly merit. Hospitality, a cherished decree, welcoming guests with open hearts we see. Through oral storytelling, wisdom is passed. Lessons of resilience that forever last. Reverence for elders, a sacred bond. Their wisdom and guidance we respond. But as a Somali Canadian, I tread in a world where cultures intertwine and spread. Being part of multiple marginalized groups brings challenges that test my roots. In a society that sometimes can misconstrue my faith, my culture, and my views, being Muslim, Somali, and Canadian means navigating identities with courage again. I embrace the beauty of my diverse soul, finding strength in the stories I've been told. For within the struggles and trials we face lies a resilience that cannot be erased. Through unity, both old and new, we bridge the gaps, forming bonds that grew. Inclusion and acceptance, our common goal, to combat the prejudice that takes its toll. As a Somali Canadian, I proudly stand, fusing traditions hand in hand. For in this melting pot, I find my embrace, celebrating the diversity of my embrace. Together, we break down barriers and walls. United, we rise, answering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's calls. In this journey, we find strength and grace, embracing the challenges we face. So let us honor the Somali traditions and celebrate our diverse positions. For in unity, we find our power and might, embracing our identities shining bright. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction, and I hope you all have an amazing night.
Wait. You're shy, huh? You can't leave. What, am I not supposed to say your high school? Is that like not a cool thing to do? You're not. Oh, okay. Are they ops? Is that what it's called? They are. Okay. You have to be scared. Okay, just leave from the back. Because these people you don't trust.
No.
Okay. Alright guys, I'm just learning. I got you. Just go through the back end. Leave her alone. I'm only asking these questions because I don't know what these kids do. You're not supposed to say this high school knows this high school. You know what we used to do when we used to battle? We used to dance battle. This, I'm not lying to you guys, we used to go to each other's schools. Like it was, what's that movie called where they did all the Step Up? That's legit. I came from Ottawa. There's no violence in Ottawa, so I used to show up at Hooker's and be like, what's good? And then that was it, and then we would just go home, and there was no violence. So I hope you guys take that from my generation. Speaking of dancing, are you guys ready to have a good time and see some moves? Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next guest. Please give it up and welcome the students from Dixon Grove. How are you? Are you? Yeah, yes. I love you. I appreciate you. Are you from Dixon Grove too? Do you go there? Oh, okay. Yes. Guys, give it up for the students at Dixon Grove. They organize an incredible dance. They are part of a group organized by Miss Farah, Miss Russo, and Miss Moore. These vibrant students are in grade 7 and in grade 8 and will highlight different dances from different regions of Somalia. Guys, give it up for them! away without teaching me a few things. Come back, come back. I need 2, 3 dancers. Come with me, come with me, come with me. Come with me. Who's gonna teach me what you guys just did? Like I wasn't gonna be part of the cool kids. I'm serious. Who's got the music? Hold on, let me take off my shoes. I'm dead serious. Like, nor my insoles, I'm old. All right, guys, you guys ready? We're gonna do literally 30 seconds. I have arthritis. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I want to look cool too, and I want to be just like the kids. So you're gonna show me 30 seconds of a top move. You guys ready? Look at you guys. Are you happy? Are you excited? What's your name? You like how you said Cadra? It's okay, I do it too. I do it for them. I got it. What's your name? Raz. Oh, you look so good. Iman, how old are you? Sorry? Iman's 10 years old. You know all the moves too? Wow, good for you. You know what I was doing at 10? You want me to tell you? I was eating sand. That's what I was doing. All right, so you're way ahead of me. What's your name? Nice to meet you, darling. What's your name? Saba. Saba, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Mina, nice to meet you. And we got some babies back there. All right, guys, show me. Let's go back in formation. Can we start from the very beginning? 30 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just stop the mic right here. 1 second. Go ahead. But guys, hype me up too, the way you were hyping them up. Her work with the children, youth, adults, and seniors. Guys, give it up for Malyoun and Shadia. Oh, she's sorry?
She's a teacher at Dixon Grove.
Oh, she's a teacher at Dixon Grove. I apologize. I love the way you guys are represented. Oh my goodness gracious. Yes, she is a teacher at Dixon Grove, guys. Give it up for them. I don't know where they are. Can you tell that I'm huffing and puffing? Ah, there you are. How are you?
Dixon Grove! Are we in here? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, KCI. Is KCI in the house? Is Dixon in the house? I know the Scarborough people are going to get upset. Scarborough, are you in the house? All right. Downtown folks, are you in the house? Come on, we need to bring more downtown folks in the West End. Assalamu alaikum. Sorry for a little bit delayed. We had some technical issues. I see the PowerPoint is over there. We're going to make things work, and hopefully we're not going to delay this. Now, we have a couple of things. I'm going to be telling a little bit of a story, and at the same time, we're going to do a little bit of sharing of some poetry. Because these ladies that we're going to be presenting to you today are not only trailblazers, but they're also icons within the Somali community. As many of you have heard of Somalia as the nation of poets, we explore the meaning of this nation of poets. In Somalia and abroad, many have heard of Abdullahi Hassan and Hadrawi as poets who organized movements through poetry and documented our cultural history through poetry. So you can go to the next slide over there. So these are the two gentlemen that I just mentioned right now. Poetry in Somalia was not only used to woo a woman between two young suitors, but rather it was used as a weapon against nations and a means to galvanize and organize against the colonial powers such as the British, the French, and the Italians. Poetry was also used as a means to build a nation and bring young and old, rich and poor to believe in nationhood, patriotism, and the independence of movement as carried through poetry, song, and dance. Men and women participated not equally at the beginning, but through time it became equal during the era of Abdullahi Hassan, followed by Hadrawi, and then women also began to respond and tell their narratives as to their personal and communal struggles. So Somalia was the first growing nation in the 60s and 70s post-independence in literacy compared to many African nations in post-colonial Africa at that time. This was made possible due to African socialism, and at the same time, the leader who was there was very progressive to actually make it equal game for not only females and males to get their education. And so literacy was vast within the country. You have to understand the context of women in North America at that time and Europe. They were dealing with suffrage, while Somali women in our context, Howard Jibril, you could put the next slide over there, you see a picture of this beautiful three women that I'm going to be focusing my presentation on. Howard Jibril, Faduma Ali Nakruma, and Khadija Delace. So these are my three folks that I'm going to be, yes, let's hear for them. So these Somali women, like in the context of Howard Jibril, was one of the biggest vocal person to demand a place in the government, committees, and women's seat in parliament in post-colonial Somalia, as it was mostly dominated sort of like main men place, all right? So who are these ladies? Who is Howard Jibril, Khadija Delace, and Faduma Nakruma? These ladies were a few of many trailblazers of the Somali independence and post-independence movement. By the way, can you hear me? I know there were some complaints of muffling. Is the voice okay? Yes? All right, sweet. So this is Mama Delace. She's the Somali mother of music. You can go to the next slide there. Okay, here, the three of them, they're jamming. Unfortunately, they're not with us at this moment. They've passed on. They're with our ancestors. So you can go to the next slide. Now, Delace was the first female singer to be heard in public radio in Somalia from the Radio Mogadishu in 1952. She's gone against all odds during that time, from religious to gender blockade. She was a poetic composer from the early ages of 9 years old. She died at the age of 82 here in Toronto, and she was nominated as the Somali Museum Legend Award recipient. She was a singer who sang in both languages, Mai and Mahatiri. She was born in Baidawa around 1936, and there were protests when she started singing in the radio, and people were hearing a woman's voice in the radio. There was protests, but her father always had her back. And that was something that elevated her and pushed on and opened the doors for female singers and female poets to come on national media within Somalia. Next slide, please. Howard Jibril. So this is the lace. You can continue on. I think you've already mentioned that. This is Howard Jibril. In this picture, you can see she's a published poet. This is her book. She published it here in Toronto. I was fortunate to work with all these three women. I was actually fortunate to perform and tell Howard Jibril's story at Harbourfront Centre on a project called A Bridge of One Hair. They were forced to leave their homes and nation due to the war, but that didn't silence them. Here in Toronto, they were advocating for Somalia, for the refugees' rights, and the awareness of rising on the various famines that happened in our homeland. So Deleuze, let me go back a little bit. You don't need to change the slide, but Deleuze always had this thing when she gets on stage, and she would always say, Somalia hanolato, hanolato, Somalia hanolato. Let me hear it, Somalia hanolato. Somalia hanolato. Thank you, thank you. By the way, my outfit, for those who are interested, it was inspired by Deleuze because this is something that is very traditional within the southern regions of Somalia. So this is where I got my inspiration for my outfit, okay? So in terms of Howard Jibril, Somalia has over 6 to 8 different forms of poetry. And this is important because some of this poetry is gender-based. Okay, the poetic forms are also categorized male versus female. Now, Gabay is mostly recited for males, and it's done and composed by males. And women would also participate as an audience, but not as in terms of composing it. Howard Jibril, what made her very unique was she worked with both. She actually composed Gabay at an age of 9 years old. And she continued this to defend herself and her rights since when she was a child. Now, she composed this famous poem, and I'm going to ask my sister Malyun, where's Malyun? We're going to give them a little taste of Gabay. And I'll give you a little context to this poem. You have the poem? All right. Let's hear it from Malyun. No. They're not ready for us. They're not ready for us. They're not ready for us. This is Gabay. It was composed in 1966, and it's called Sisters. So I will do the English translation, but I want you to hear the Somali version. And this is the difference between Gabay and Burambur. Gabay is spoken, Burambur is sang. And out of those 6 different poetic forms, each of them have a different emotion that it relays. With Gabay, it's mostly used in a male sort of like setting. And this poem, she composed it and to present it in front of men because she wanted that audience to hear her outcry and to basically make it a political statement. So here you go, Manu.
So the title of the poem, Halay Gabihi Iskutu Night, by Howard Jibril, 1966. Calanka dusheena markii loo dagaalamayay labadooda daan iyo gabdhaheed gaashay gacantoodu dirisyoonka leegada gabdhihii geeyey dahabkooda gabdhihii isku duubnaa ragga qaar la duubsaday daruur midkii layay gabdhihii xaawo laga dooxay markii dowladii nimadii la helay. This is the important part, this is correct. Markii dowladnimadii la helay dibadda loo tuuray dirtooradikii tahay xurnimadu lama damacsiineen dagriigii ay qaadan hayeenna dacaska weeyaane.
Let's hear it from Malyun. That was the end of the poem. So here's the translation for those who are like, huh? What is she talking about? We don't get. Sisters, at the time we were fighting for our flag, sisters, we chanted and clapped till our hands and jaws got sore. Sisters, we sold our jewelry, depriving ourselves and donated to our league, enriching the struggle. Sisters, we stayed as one, united even when our brothers were divided and deceived our nation. Sisters, we joined the fight. Remember the beautiful one, Hawa? Hawa, she was speared through the heart, but sisters, we were forgotten. We did not taste the fruits of success. Even the lowest positions were not offered, and our degrees have been cast away like rubbish. So this is the end of the poem. So you can see, thank you. So you can see during Somalia's independence and post-independence Somalia that there was struggle still for the women's voice, and this poem demonstrates her power as a poetic form. You can go to the next slide so that people can see kind of like a bio of what she was able to accomplish. And due to some of her movement, policies ended up changing in Somalia to allow women to actually participate in the parliament. So as refugees in Toronto, she continued to write about the injustices of being Somali in Toronto and Canada, in both Gabay and Burambur. And here's a little sort of like taste of her Burambur. We're gonna share a little bit of some of her work.
The title of the poem in Somali is Mahrotiga Canada. Burambur, 1993 was written. So Mahrotiga Canada, Dakso Wekabisha, Lama Nakadiye, Wapa, Lokashe Naya, Kana Adamale, La'a, Tarufadale, Kotayon Kayo, Guria, Heda Kalina, Maki Loke, Tuje, Kiguba, Alaman, Umat Malagwe, Ya O, Apamel Kayi, Salam Adai, O, Lakay Sankari, Salam Kaka, Dahai, O, Lakab Sankari, Kapkan Arata, Alba, Kisuba, Ufulan, Wangalodo, Ilodu, Wamahlamu, Kandado, Wangabaranahai, O Shariga, Makadan Waniye, Kadiyatayo, Kara, Kanuhe, Sijire, Afrika, Kuru, Deli, Baha, Dakakawanai, Waina, Kukana, Kadarata, Ebaha.
Indeed, Canada receives refugees right away, does not let them starve, but provides for them. Yet, the money that we receive is insufficient. After the expensive food and rent, we are left with empty pockets. There are strange people coming from everywhere. They never notice you or greet you. They all keep to themselves, hastily locking their doors. I feel isolated and sick with loneliness. I am trapped, for I am not yet landed. I miss my cause and the country of my songs, deprived of my beautiful Africa. I must be content with the fate God has received for me, has reserved for me. So you see, let's hear a little bit of that. Come on now, that's how it read, girl. That was a little bit insight of what poetry has been used within our communities. And so this is something that we wanted to make sure that you have a little taste of the different poetic forms. the second slide. This is my final person right here, Mama Paduma Nakuruma. Is Muniso in the house? Muniso? I can't see. Is Muniso? Can we hear it? This is her daughter right here. Can we hear for her, please? We have some family members of these folks. Now, Mama Nakuruma, what can I say? What can I say about this lady? She was full of energy, hope of the United Nation of Somalia. She was jamming with Fela Kuti and giving pointers to Stevie Wonder of on Afro Soul. You can go to the next slide. She was here with us as a university student working on fundraising, mentoring us and bringing that nostalgic Somalia performance art. Yes, you guys know this. She was a collector of stories, wrote numerous plays, Kabio 1, Kabio 2, and many, many other plays. She was about harsh realities of the Somali families arriving in Canada as refugees and the struggles of immigration. She was talking about the stories of single motherhood and the violence that was happening in our communities, not only here within the diaspora, but also back home, and that interconnectedness between nations, between communities. Her works will soon be published as the family is working on a book. And so, in terms of her background, she comes from a theater background. She started her work as a nurse, then she went into military, and she was one of the first sort of like Somali women who was performing for the National Army to inspire them and bring in their morale during the war between Somalia and Ethiopia during that time. Then eventually, she ended up becoming very famous through her song and her performance, and her and Delace were both part of the Waberi National Theater Performance Group, and so they continued on. She went to the African Festival all across, and her name is so interesting. She was named after Nkrumah, who was basically the first president of Ghana, and it was because of her tenacity and her diligence of performance that her instructor said, you know what? You're going to be nicknamed, and your name, your performance stage name will be Nkrumah, because Nkrumah was that leader who was tenacious and who was vocal when it came to African issues. So that's how she got her name. So go to the next slide. Not only that, these ladies, what was very fascinating about these ladies was it was about nationhood. When Lumumba was killed during the colonial time in Congo, Somalis composed a song, and Nkrumah, with a number of other singers like Hibonura, Alana Karisto, may Allah, all of them grant them Jannah, inshallah, all these ladies who passed away and the men who passed away, say Ameen. They composed a song about Lumumba and say, oh Lumumba, how you were missed. Because his body, for those who don't know the history of Lumumba, his body was cut in pieces and thrown all across the Congo. So the entire continent was lamenting for his death because he was one of those African leaders. So again, we see nationhood, Africanhood, African identity, all intertwined within our Somali poetic work and our Somali music. You can go to the next slide. As I was honored to work with these three ladies, our elders in our city, at the project of the Bridge with One Hair, where the story was infused with telling the story of Hawa Jibril and collective Somali community in this new land, coming to terms with nostalgia and indigeneity and the history of the indigenous people here and what we left behind. As I would like to leave you with his words written by Hawa Jibril, as we shared with you between myself and Malyun, I know where that, in terms of justice, was core in their work. And art for social change, art for justice, was the drive of these women and their poetic form. And we see this type of art until today practiced within our communities. And of course, our own city, K9 singer, who just recently got an award for another social change song, Refugee. So here it is. This is for our future. I remember them as that they lament and give hope to our future generations and on our nation. So please, thank you very much. Keep them in your prayers and keep an open eye to Somali poetry. Thank you.
about? Anyways, I was locked up for COVID like the rest of you guys. You guys were probably in school on computers. I was at home doing nothing, getting served. You don't know what that is, you're all children. But anyway, during that time, I was so anxious to go out that when the restrictions finally, the government finally let us go out and stores started opening up again, I was really excited. And I remember they said that we could go out but with restrictions. I didn't know what the restrictions were. So I ended up going all the way to the Eaton Center to go to the mall. And I found out then and there that the restriction was that every public washroom in the city was closed due to COVID. Yeah, and one thing about me is I'm an active pooper. Some people can't hold in their pee, I can never hold in my poop. And it was really stressful for me. I'm actually grabbing at people, I was like, where are you guys pooping? Are you pooping in the aisle? No one had an answer for me. Anyways, I was so stressed and I didn't know what to do that I went to my car and I took a poop in a cup in my car. Yeah, I did that. I took a big dump in a big gulp cup in my car. One girl, one cup. Sweet. Anyways, I'm gonna get another joke before I leave and come back later to tell you more stuff. Last year, February, I got a concussion. And it was because my cat gave me a concussion. Yeah, she kept scratching me and I ended up falling off my bed. And I went to the doctor and he told me I was concussed. And it made me a lot funnier. So it was actually great for my career. I'm not concussed right now, as you can tell. Keep the show going. How did I come on up here?
Thank you, Sagal. I appreciate you. By the way, as you were telling that joke about peep and poop, I heard a hobby in the background. She was literally whispering, she's like, "Ala imam mo Hasan aga barin." I was like, Hamir, well, like, so don't worry about that. Trust me, they're not innocent. I know when you guys watch. That being said, thank you so much, Sagal. Let's give it up to our next guest. Our next guest is Ahmed. No? Oh, wait a minute. There's a change of schedule. Just give me 1 second.
How's everybody doing? try a rap. And this young man, he come up to me and he said, Howard, why you only have that one song that's already easy? I said, what do you have? You don't want to battle. You were snack like an apple. I'm a full course meal. He was a Costco sample. I was gonna beat him with my flip-flop sandal. His name was Daniel. I said, damn, you fragile. I was too late like the flame of a candle. I didn't want to go on. He was crying. He called me a one-hit wonder. And I went into the studio. I said, what do you have? You want me up in the studio? I was just with my chispa making toba. But I had to go back in the studio. Little girl, I need your help. I need somebody on the track. Just grab that mic. I need somebody on the chorus. So this is what I produced when I went back in the studio because I'm the bridge, the gap. I bridge the gap between the young and the old. You understand? And if you want to see me February 24th, it's the restaurant with showing the moves. All of the Real Somali, okay? So DJ now, drop the beat.
But you got no bass. Forcing me back in the studio. One hit wonder out. Oh yeah, Muckle. Call me the bulldog. That's the way. See right through you like the glass of a window. Big window, got you in know. Off the tempo. And my flight stay blue like a benzo. That's Fernando. That's the Mendo. And I'm coming to you straight like Rambo. I'm Howard, yeah, I'm well respected. Like all in the road, I'm well connected. Time is money, so I just invested. Rap game like some boosters, so I just perfected. Also danger, I should be arrested. You know how I ain't the one to mess with. Straight Jersey. Cause how I got hard, you know how to see. You go past our tech got the whole world calling me outie. And you won't respect my macro. Go ahead and call me the bulldog.
try this. It's nice for you to meet me. Ottawa.
Thank you so much. Guys, give it up one more time for her. You remember that conversation? We had a conversation, her and I. Okay? And the conversation was when I was growing up, you know how Oda used to give you lunches and whatnot, and you guys got dunkaroos and whatever delicious stuff that your mom gets from Costco. I remember asking how why is it the Hoyers, when I was growing up, you know what I got for lunch? I got ambulo. You guys know what ambulo is? Exactly. So how actually, my question to you is, as a Hoyer, 50 plus, you look great for 50 plus.
It's black don't cry.
That's what I need to know.
We gave you ambula because ambula is protein. What is Kanakaru gonna do for you? Alright, I love this very much. The show must go on.
I love you guys. Give it up for Hannah. But I tell you, I have a special place in my heart. It has a very, very special place in my heart. Let's guys give it up for our next guest. His name, he goes by your name. Hold on. We have a bit of a change of schedule. His name is Ishaq, and he's going to be doing a poem called Reminder. So please guys give it up for Ishaq Ahmed.
Bismillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you guys hear me? Is it good? Okay. I won't take up too much of your time. Okay. I won't take up too much of your time. I just have one short poem to share. Bismillah. When I say that these words are a reminder, it's for me. I'm both as neglectful and forgetful as they come. So when I slip up, I try to learn and follow up a bad act with a good one. I'm just thinking out loud, but in reality, I'm trying to view myself as a sequel. Seeing who I was, who I am, and who I'm becoming are like 3 different people. I used to write since I was like 15. Kept perspectives to my own, wrote notebooks full of various tones. Outside of a photograph, written words are a fine way to track a memory, or even to track progression. Imagine more than a decade writing pages in succession, representing thoughts through letters, and to this day, silence fits me like a sweater. But don't you know that using the gifts given to you for His sake is worship? That using the gifts given to you is fulfilling your purpose? And using the gifts given to you is community service? I guess we're all well aware, but maybe we're scared of the consequences that can follow. You can either be loved or hated, so imaginary emotions range from joy to sorrow. So when I say that these words are a reminder, it's for me. I'm just as neglectful and forgetful as they come. So when I slip up, I try to learn and follow up a bad act with a good one. I'm just thinking out loud, but in reality, I'm trying to view myself as a sequel. Seeing who I was, who I am, and who I'm becoming are like 3 different people. Do we live in a time where we prioritize the meaningless and ignore the benefit? Scrolling through timelines like we're afraid to adjust the elephant. Knowledge is power and heedlessness is weakness. How much longer will we spend repeating this sequence? But let's try to change. Gain knowledge and apply what you've learned. Tawheed, Ikhlas, Niyyah. Because ain't it a shame that we know more about LeBron James than Ibn Taymiyyah? But partner, we will be standing on that day. We'll stand alone, and thus the responsibility falls alone by your own, and how we spend our days. Bismillah. Bismillah. Cheer for me, clap for me, clap for me, clap for me. And partner, we will be standing on that day. We stand alone, and thus the responsibility falls alone by your own, and the price we pay is a result of how we spend our days. So when I say these words, our reminder is for me. I'm just as neglectful and forgetful as they come. So when I slip up, I try to learn and follow up a bad act with a good one. I'm just thinking out loud, but in reality, I'm trying to view myself in the sequel. Seeing who I was, who I am, and who I'm becoming are like 3 different people. And I pray to never self-proclaim. I'm not the best. I never was, I never will be. I don't want the fame, the glory, and I don't want no trophies. I'm just a man. I'm just a man with flaws and failures more than you can imagine. I'm just a poet. But I won't be a poet for long, but while I'm here, let these words inspire me to practice what I teach and to keep my intention sincere. Jazakumullah khair.
Stop! Alright, hi guys, I'm back. I know this is Somali Heritage Week, but recently I went to a Caribbean restaurant. I'm not gonna name the place. It was overpriced, they had small portions. It was called Chubby's. Anyways, I went there and me and my friends ended up spending a bunch of money on food. And my friend got like a small jerk chicken, it was like $25. And then at the end I asked the lady as a joke, because the large jerk chicken was $45. And I was like, what is this, a whole chicken jerked? And she was like, actually just a tip for next time. It is a whole chicken jerked, and it would have filled up all 3 of you guys, and you would have saved a lot of money. I was like, well, a tip for you is that you're not getting a tip. And next time I come back, I want the whole chicken jerked. Okay? I want the beak jerked. I want the thing underneath its chin jerked. I want the feet jerked. I want the feathers on the side. I want the innards fried, sauteed. All right, let me bring up the next guy. We have another poet, Ahmed Adel. He'll be doing a poem called Hope and Hustle Heights. Ahmed, are you here? That's Somali people for you. I was gonna say, oh, hey, Ahmed.
Hello. You guys hear me? Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shout out to Khalid, man. That's my guy. Jazakallah khair to the Somali Center for Culture and Recognition for having me. I just have a poem. It's titled Somali Excellence. And just shout out to everybody that came and supported today. I'm not gonna lie, when I pulled up, I saw the driveway full, and I said, SubhanAllah. I did not think it was gonna be a big turnout like this, but alhamdulillah it is. And jazakallah khair to everybody for supporting, the organizers, the hosts, and everybody else involved. May Allah put barak in it. So yeah, inshallah, it's called Somali Excellence, and I'm gonna kind of be talking about Somali Excellence, so I'll start. Bismillah. You guys can hear me well? Yeah? Okay. The Horn of Africa, from the east where we hail. Right on the coast, our ocean waves, our people sailing. Our flag, crystal blue like the waters. We get it jumping, like Hoya, like Goldberg with the Hoyas and the daughters. Fathers proud of our heritage, tribes this for centuries, alive and well. These are unforgotten memories. Nation of poets, with the pen we got the cure, mental remedy. The talent God given, the thoughts so vivid. I wake up with a smile, I'm jelly in the kitchen. Early mornings, our people in submission towards God. That's our job, and to do it with conviction. To be Somali, I can't begin to get into description. July 1st, 1960, Somalia became independent. It's a day of remembrance, but never did we forget. We were leaders before colonizers began to interject. And our people would chant until they lost their breath. Manta, 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 wamani, way, manta. You guys know the rest, right? In the times of the Prophet, peace be upon him, Somalis were around. There's a masjid somewhere in the town by the name of Qiblatain, dating back 1400 years when the Qiblas changed. So you see, our history is so deep, it's hard to explain. And it expanded when our parents chose to flee from our home war torn, knowing one day the pebbles would be pieced together to rebuild the horn. And they entrusted that duty on us, the youth. Because the truth is, Somalia has hope, and we're the proof, so I salute anybody putting on for their home. To all you leaders, resiliency is embedded in our chromosomes, it's genetic. Our history, there ain't no forgetting. For the blood, sweat, and tears, our fears were overcome, and now it's time for correction. For the mistakes of past generations. They weren't perfect, let's face it. In order for change, unity, we must embrace it. And now I'll start thanking Somali women for their hustle. Black Muslim females can't talk about their struggles.
But I see them in triumph, and I love that they're humble. They stay quiet against hate, no debate, success to rebuttal. And to our mothers, whose characteristics are altruistic, who put aside their dreams so their kids finish their wish list. They're doctors, teachers, and always there to listen to complaints. They love their children without condition. The only people to shelter us even when we diss them. Don't hesitate to tell Hoya you love her, go and kiss her. And I saved the best for last, Hoya Ma'an. She carried burdens on her back since leaving the motherland. Anytime I need a crutch, maybe slip up or fall, she did it all. And without her, I could never stand. And shout out Somali men, breaking barriers often. Understand your influence, you got young leaders watching. They always hold it down, bringing youth together, making the most of today so tomorrow can be better. I'm a Muslim down to my name. Poetry is the way I speak of our pain as if the roots of Somalia had a pen to illustrate. We all need to uplift the people making a difference. Not for praise, not for fame, for these things being efficient. Keep intentions pure, let's break the mentality of division. For Somalis, let's make an image that's beautiful, exquisite. This last part is for all of you in the audience. Some familiar faces, some looking anonymous, but I see potential in your eyes so dominant. We're part of a religion so honorable, so please let's honor it. In this life, it's not about win or lose, it's what you do with the talent that God handed you. Either you choose to satisfy your temptations, intent to self-amuse, or you bless others, grateful because Allah blessed you. Creating opportunities for others, the best form of gratitude. To Allah who blessed you, and with that I conclude with a promise to myself and to all of you that to settle for less I refuse. I plan to be a role model for our youth until I'm laying in the grave, and I would like to thank you. So I did want to thank everybody, like I said, a lot of times Somalis get a bad reputation in this city, but alhamdulillah we have a lot of successful people coming out here. Beautiful event was put together. So let's try to shed light on the positive stuff going on in our community. So Jazakallah khairan.
Thank you so much. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Yeah, wherever you want to go. Amazing. Guys, give it up for him one more time. I wasn't going to do this, but I got called out earlier because I did a dance. You saw what I did. I killed it. Did I not kill it? Yeah, exactly. So I was trying to get water and I was accosted out there and somebody said, yeah, you can do that kind of dance, but can you get sturdy? Exactly. Only the kids were like, oh, because they know what that means. So we're going to talk about this later on. I'm going to speak to the person who's asking me these questions, and if you want to battle, we can get down. But that's going to be at the end of the show. So I'm just letting you guys know I'll be stretching. That being said, we have an incredible panel coming up. Our next panelist is with, I think you guys know her. So give it up for Fahima Hassan. She is a student here at Crippled Collegiate Institute. And she's going to be leading a discussion with one of my favorite teachers, because teachers did not look like this when I was growing up. She's cool, she's hip, you should see her on Instagram. So she goes by Zahra Hassan, Miss Wonder Soul. Guys, give it up for an incredible panel. Look, doesn't she look cool? You guys already look cool, look at this, and you're a teacher. All right, go do your thing, girl. Thank you. All right, we're going to have to open the curtains and get the seating back there with the panelists. Whoever's back there. Okay, well, in the meantime, I've always wanted to ask you something. Yeah. I'm dead serious. Do the kids that you teach think you're cool? Or is just that I think you're cool because I'm just watching your Instagram, but you're their teacher? So they look at you and be like, bro, what are you wearing? And here I am, like, liking and commenting.
Well, yes, and some of my students are actually here today. I've seen a couple of them, so they can answer that question. If I can see them. Gigi, where you at? Right there, I see you. Khalid, where you at? Yasmin, where you at?
Yeah. Oh, I love that you're here to support her. Look at that. That means that they think you're cool, because they're here on Friday night. So there you go. Oh my God. Hi, Heather. Oh, she's gonna tell you there's so many incredible people. I'm gonna stop talking. Do your thing, guys.
All right, thank you so much. All right, this is such a great lineup. MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Before we get started, of course, I want you guys to introduce yourselves. So you can go first.
Hello everyone, my name is Asma. I'm a conceptual photographer. The photos behind me over here are the ones that I tell people called having a seat at the table. I'm going to pass down the mic to...
Assalamu alaikum everybody, my name is Ahmed, just a regular community member that listened to poetry earlier, and yeah, panelist too.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Saada, and I am a teacher, and I'm also a painter. These two are mine, and I will talk about them later, and again, I fully forgot your name in a matter of a second, so sorry.
No worries, I'm used to doing introductions myself. Assalamu alaikum, my name is Adar, and I'm the founder and host of the Digital Story podcast.
Alright, we are going to get started.
Okay, so my first question for you guys is, can you share more about your journey in like your art? Can you share more about your artistic journey and how you like developed this unique style?
Oh, you're my expert. Okay, I'm going to go first. I don't have a very unique journey or story about how I kind of got into photography. I was inspired by my older sister because she took some photos, so I picked up the camera. And then in terms of finding my style, I kind of had to try out everything before finding these the minimalistic photos behind me. But that's my journey. It's nothing quite exciting. I'm going to pass the mic down to...
Assalamu alaikum everybody. So I started writing poetry at a young age. I wasn't really a good public speaker. I was kind of scared of crowds like this. But alhamdulillah, I just kept posting it on social media and performing. And alhamdulillah, I got to this point. So yeah.
So my journey is a little long. I started at high school, and I used to paint murals in the city of Toronto, getting rid of unwanted graffiti. And then I kind of stopped for a really long time. I was focusing on my career, I was focusing on raising my family, and then COVID happened, and it allowed me to really rediscover my love for painting. And so I was able to really take the time to develop what I wanted to tell people, and what I wanted to show individuals was the beauty of the Somali culture, the beauty of mothers. And so that's always the center of what I do. And as well, I love texture. If you guys go close to the painting, you can kind of feel the depth of what the story that I'm telling. And so I was able to kind of play around with different mediums. I cut out letters and I include it in my painting. I use paste, I use whatever I can find to add to my painting. So that's my little style that I developed during COVID.
My journey there's multiple answers, but the first answer is that simply I wanted to do something for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That was my first reason. I wanted to follow the advice of the Prophet when he said sharing a good word is sadaqah. And so I sought out to pursue and share a good word. Often the sadaqah that often people don't practice, because people when they hear sadaqah, they think of money. But when you share a good word to another person, whether that's complimenting them, empowering them, that is sadaqah. So selfishly, I started a podcast so I could, inshallah, enter the highest level of Jannah for those that I know. Yeah, we can clap together. My second reason is simply my first hero, which is my mother. And if you know who my mother is, her name is Maria Bello, and she's known as a Quran legend. Being her first eldest daughter, watching her be who she is, by empowering others through her poetry, inspired me to empower others with my words. So that is how my youth journey kind of started. And yes.
We are so sorry for this whole much situation, so please bear with us. Okay, my next question is, are there any cultural elements that you guys added, like Somali culture or history that you intentionally incorporated into your art?
That's a great question. I did incorporate a few objects, but the one that kind of stands out in my piece is called the deal. So basically it's a traditional milk storage that Somalis use back home, and they also use it here as well for weddings. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's like, yeah, so that's one of the objects and symbols. So yeah, go ahead.
So I like to tell a lot of stories, speak about the history and the culture of Somalia. As you heard in the poem, I was talking about Malawak, waking up every morning, talking about the history, the fact that we were independent in 1960. However, we were always leaders, you know, talking about the fact that Islam, we were one of the first people to accept Islam, you know, in Africa, subhanAllah. So just always reminding people, reminding myself to be proud of my lineage, proud of my heritage, and always reminding myself that I'm a representative of that as well, right? Through the poetry, the way I act, the way I carry myself.
So, I have two different collections behind me. One, this one on my right, it's called A Walk Through the Maternal Garden. And this piece is really talking about the connection that we have with our children. And this one is called An Intimate Exchange. And so I'm constantly putting my identity into my work, whether that is being a mother, whether that's being Somali, or whether that's being Muslim. I don't ever show faces, I don't ever show certain things that, so I'm constantly putting my identity forward. The other thing is that I love color, and there's something about Somali weddings that is infused in colors. And so this piece behind me is another collection, and it's about what's taking place during Aros, especially at just Somali women Aros. And that is when a lot of the times women feel free and they feel like not inhibited in any way. And so this is the freedom of expression that I am showing in this piece. And so as I said, I think for me, it's really important that I'm constantly showing the beauty of our culture and the joy that we have. And that's never talked about in our communities. It's never talked about what we bring to the table, as you were mentioning. And so it's really important for me to always express and always center our culture and as well as our team.
I think besides the fact the story I told you about my mother, what I can say is that I always knew that Somali women, when they told a story, that it could shape the world. I always believed that. My debut season of the Digital Sisterhood podcast was a season that had me charting past Joe Rogan. And the stories that were popular were the stories that were recited, or the stories that were shared were of Somali women. I don't think that that's a coincidence. But it's not only there were Somali women that made them extraordinary storytelling, it was their deen. It's their belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that made them successful. Because when Somali women believe, others follow our trend. That's the truth. So, when it comes to being Somali and podcasting, I always tell everybody in any room I enter, it's because of being a Somali girl myself and interviewing Somali women on the podcast that made the podcast so successful. And I say that proudly. Such a great speaker, mashallah.
I second that. All right, our final question. what advice would you give to young aspiring artists who sometimes feel discouraged when pursuing art as a career option?
My advice would be just do it. You know, if you have an idea, don't just write it down. It's going to be messy in the beginning. Just start and see where it goes. You know, enjoy the progress, the process, enjoy the journey, and just start creating things. Because 10 years from now, you're going to look back and you're like, oh, I should have, you know, taken that photo. I should have drawn that painting. I should have started that podcast. So my advice is just start.
I'm going to piggyback off what Esma said. I would say always try to purify your intentions. You have a responsibility, right? Even if you're doing art, whether you're pursuing being a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, you always have to remember that you're a Muslim first and a Somali second, right? You're always a representative of those two identities. So do it, represent it properly in all the work that you do, but keep your intentions pure. And like Esma said, don't be afraid to try, right? Once you try and you fail, then you understand what to do better and you come back stronger. Yeah, none of us are perfect at the end of the day. I can talk about myself, like the first time I performed, it was like an auditorium like this. I forgot the poem halfway through, I just stood there staring at the audience, they're staring back at it, it was awkward, but, you know? It keeps you humble, you know, when you mess up, or you don't get it perfect the first time, the second time around, you remind yourself like you're human, you're not perfect, and Allah didn't need for you to be perfect. You're meant to be human, you're meant to go through trials and tribulations, ups and downs, and inshallah you hope to come out better than you came into it. So yeah, inshallah, just go for it and shoot that shot.
So I've been doing art since high school, and to this day I still find it really difficult to call myself an artist. It's really difficult because you're constantly second guessing yourself. You're constantly thinking that you're not good enough. And so I really believe that it is important to have people who are cheering you on in your corner. I think it's really important to have cheerleaders because a lot of the time that self-doubt is constantly creeping in and then you stop. And so I'm very lucky to have family members that are constantly just reminding me of the fact that I have a skill that, you know, I'm able to share with you guys. And so, number one, have people who are in your corner who are constantly supporting you and are also giving you critical feedback, because I think that, you know, that pushes you and that makes you much better as an artist. And the last thing that I would like to say is that I think it's really important that you are consistent and that you're showing up, because a lot of the times when you want to do something but you're not putting in the work, it's not going to land on your lap. It's not going to just be there when you wake up the next morning. So you have to put in the work. And so, you know, waking up, doing or losing sleep, or not going out with a friend, it's really important that you take your art and you hone it and you make sure that you work towards whatever it is that you want.
So my advice is a bit different, only because it speaks to my experience. When I started the podcast, and you can imagine, everybody loves to start a podcast, but not everybody knows how to make money from it. Last year, and I want everyone to hear me when I say this, because I normally wouldn't share this fact. The Digital Sisterhood is also a business. Last year, we closed TDS at six-figure company. Alhamdulillah, I take no credit except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed me a dream that started from my bedroom to be a successful company. But what I would say to those who are dreaming, right, we're dreamers. It's good to be a dreamer. But my biggest haters, and I say them with so much love, and being realistic, okay? When I say this, that my biggest haters and obstacle were my parents. And I say this with so much love because as a first generation eldest daughter, I couldn't afford to take a risk. My parents wanted me to be successful. And so their nasiha to me was to take the traditional ways to go to school, graduate, maybe do a master's, become a lawyer, become a doctor, be a nurse. But I wanted to dream differently. I wanted to be a podcaster. You can imagine what that was like hearing my parents. Until today, they tell people I do radio. Every day I tell them, no, I do podcast, please. You know? But when I made a deal with them, I sat them down, I told them, listen, I have a real opportunity to do something with my life that's different. But what if I succeeded? What if you just gave me 1 year to do this? And alhamdulillah, by the kindness of my parents and who they are, they gave me 1 year. In 1 year, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made my dreams come true. The road to dream isn't easy. Picking a path that is different than the path that our parents tell us or the people before us isn't easy. But there are some of us who are different, and it's okay to be different. Because maybe your difference is what makes you extraordinary. And although arts is something we've seen in our community take us far as quickly as we'd like to, there's a real opportunity for us to create that landscape anew. Because Somali people have always been artists. They've always been creators. That is why we thrive. That is how we tell our history. That is who we are. So if that's what you want to be, do it. But remember, anything you do without the intention of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not succeed. And if it does succeed, you will not succeed in the akhirah. So whatever you pursue, ask yourself first, is this something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with? If it is, then why wouldn't He bless you with success? Why wouldn't He bless you? So inshallah, that's my advice to you.
So, I'm a UX designer. I'm a full-time UX designer, so I design mobile applications. So, photography is my side thing. And so, during my, working years, working in corporate, I felt like, as a Somali, I didn't feel like I had a seat at the table, right? So that's where the title comes from, having a seat at the table. And I've heard other stories from other Somali individuals as well that work in corporate where they just feel left out. And so I wanted to kind of represent that in photos through objects and subjects as well. How long did it take? It kind of took me 2 months. So it started off with, finding inspiration, looking up model listings, and just making sure that I look at the studio as well, and then the editing process at the end, which is absolutely my favorite part. But that's the process.
Shout out to the sisters on the panel about why they're doing a lot of good work. My first part of the question was, so the inspiration behind the poetry, it's actually funny. Like growing up, I never really know about Somali poetry. My Somali is not the best. Shout out to But my Somali wasn't the best growing up, but as I got older, I realized that Somali was known as the nation of poetry, right? So it's kind of something that resonated with me. I feel like it's embedded in all of us, right? Like anybody can really write a touching piece or a moving piece if they feel motivated enough to do it, right? Alhamdulillah, my family, big inspiration, obviously being Muslim. That was a big inspiration. And learning about the history of poetry within Islam too was something that was very influential in me writing. And I find inspiration in just every day. I'm having good conversation with people, and maybe that one word, one saying that they might say might motivate a piece, a whole piece, just off that one conversation we have, or watching that one video, So, alhamdulillah, I've always been and I kind of started, I feel like everybody's written poetry in school. It's kind of part of the curriculum. I don't know if that's our teacher right here. Yeah, round of applause. Round of applause, yes. Educators are very important, but I know that's a part of the curriculum, so like my first time being introduced to poetry was in grade 5, so like 10, 11 years old. The first time I wrote by myself, I was like 14. So I'm watching a trial of Trayvon Martin actually. So stuff like that. Like, if you see injustices happening, even what's going on in Palestine, you know, may Allah help everyone. May Allah help all the people that are suffering and have mercy on the martyrs. Keep making dua, guys. Don't feel hopeless. I know a lot of times people. Try to find motivation, inspiration, every day.
So my inspiration, especially for the walk through the maternal garden, is when I became a mom. I really wanted to showcase a series that talked about the struggles, the joy, all the emotions that come with being a mother, loss. And so, not to plug anything, but there's about 4 of this collection coming out, so if you guys want to know what's coming, please follow and, you know. It's a very meaningful piece for me because, and I'm sure a lot of moms can relate, a lot of mothers can relate. Being a mother, there's so much to it, there's such a huge journey that a lot of times we don't talk about it, and for me it's hard to vocalize it, so I paint about it. And this piece here is about weddings, and in particular Somali women weddings. And one of the things that I'm just in constant awe of is the sisterhood of when we come together, the support, the fluidity of our dance when we're moving on the dance floor, the stories that we tell during Barango, all of that often